Hey there, I'm Michael Demond, and I'm introducing the world to starbeam.one. This session is market analysis and opportunity. Let's begin. A quick overview of the topics I'll be discussing in this session. Creator economy. It's a bit of a buzzword you probably heard these past few years, and I break that down into two major segments. So you have your leasing segment and your ownership segment, much like the real estate. And with your leasing segment, it's basically everything that is not an NFT up until this point. You pay a monthly fee to get access to a service and all its content. And when you stop paying that fee, you lose all that access. You never really have that ownership. And that's kind of what NFTs introduce. The problem with NFTs, though, is it comes with these characteristics that people don't like, for better or for worse. And I've listed them there for your review. As a business owner, you are trained to ask the question, what if someone doesn't want that? Because that's where opportunity lies. And with digital ownership right now, there is no market choice. If you want digital ownership, you are forced to use a blockchain. You are forced to use a volatile underlying asset. You are forced with an install, and then you are forced to manage your own keys. And so there is no market choice right now. And if you don't want any of that, you are out of luck. So if you don't want that, that seems to imply that you can make a product that doesn't have that, if that makes sense. And that's kind of how I started to think about this, is that, NFTs have those barriers, but they also have these qualities that can be cool, but can be also used against them. And that is what I have there in that QR code. And I started to think a little bit more about the space, and it dawned on me that we already have something that's out there that's like that. And it's been around for as long as I can remember. And that's a digital license. And, it captures all the qualities of NFTs, but does it in a more formal way. And, the one thing that is missing, though, is this resale factor. And so that's kind of how I went down this road. And I started to think, well, why don't we formalize that and make that the product? There's a lot of discussion around, where's the value? NFTs are confusing. It seems like an incomplete model. And I like to use two references to kind of complete the picture. One is the real estate market. You buy a house, it's a tangible thing. You sell it at a later time for a profit. Same goes with the stock market, but these are intangible. You don't hold them, you can't see them, but trillions of dollars of that product goes through the market every year. So a bit of a differentiator, I feel, with starbeam.one and kind of the centralized mindset is that, now we have the capability of doing more of a publishing model, and that means higher quantity and lower prices. Quickly going over the opportunity here is that we have this digital product. It is a digital license that is sold and resold on a centralized marketplace. And because it's centralized, the focus is on efficiency, which means higher quantity and lower prices. And now, because we have this centralized marketplace, we have market choice, right? Now you can choose between centralized and decentralized. And here with the centralized offering, that means no blockchain, no underlying volatile asset, and no wallet install. Now, there are risks with this model, and I want to make sure that they're properly represented. The decentralized crowd has this expression, not your key, not your crypto. And that is true. In a centralized setting, the centralized service is the custodian of those assets. And what I want to find out, and my big question is, does the market care? Does the market care if the centralized service is the custodian of those assets? Because as we're seeing with Coinbase and other centralized services and exchanges, the market really does not care, and they use these centralized services quite a bit. The bigger risk to me, and one that I'm really worried about, is the solvency, right? As a business, you fail, and that's a whammy. In this case, it's more of a double whammy because you fail and those assets are technically null and void. This is something that is a big risk to me, an identified risk, and I have this captured in a living will, which you can visit there in the QR code to get more information. Okay, that's the market analysis and opportunity. Let's move on to the business model. See you there.